back pain. Sometimes we don't get the opportunity to stop. We have to keep working, and we also don't have the money or the opportunity to get to a therapist. So back pain can be reduced and even removed in motion, in what you are doing every day. It is possible if you are able to slow down your movements, and if you are able to do them with more awareness in that slower speed, you can unravel the tension that is causing the pain. So at the moment I have actually got, after a long car journey in car seats that are incredibly uncomfortable, something is unraveling in my right hand side. Now it's possibly a combination of driving less, so there's not so much habitual activity happening with my right leg anymore. The psoas is softer and it's releasing its hold. When you start releasing tension, you are actually remembering circulation, and this is the pins and needles principle that I speak about, and that first of all it hurts, second of all it feels a bit strange, and then you have got the comfort that comes after that when the circulation's all returned and everything's happening as it should. So in motion and standing up, this is great for if you've got sciatic pain, any sort of back pain, if you have got digestive problems, if you're suffering from reflux, anything, if you're suffering from a mental health or emotional emergency or stressful situation, you actually go through this exact same thing, but I'm focusing on back pain because that's what I got going on. So to start with, in motion, you have got to get your feet lined up underneath you and have a good center of gravity, have a good foundation. So that is basically having the legs underneath these pointer bits at the front of the pelvis, parallel down to the knees, parallel down to the heels. The feet are, like the outsides of the feet are parallel to each other. So a lot of people will think, oh, that's pigeon-toed. It's not. It's correct skeletal alignment, and it's not always possible. If you're used to standing with your feet out and you're, standing like that, to turn your feet to that position is too far. So you find a place which is not your typical, but it's a little bit closer to alignment, and you work with that to begin with. Now you are going to assess, how do your feet feel? You are looking for even weight between the left and the right foot, between the heels and the toes. And you want to find that by adjusting your center of gravity around over the foundation. You are not looking to be straight up and down, you are not looking to be even, you are looking to be balanced on the floor. Because this tight right side, I've been aware of it for a long time, it's always being activated every time you drive a car. And then every situation that brings up the stress response in you shortens this area, so it's getting compounded constantly. When that happens, if there's been a lot of driving of a car, it'll be very short through the right hand side. So for me, dropping my left knee into a bit of a bend to give bend in the pelvis, to give bend in the knee, takes the pressure off, and it allows me to drop my weight evenly into both feet, toes and heel. So from the side, that looks like this. So I'm not standing straight. I'm not standing in alignment. I'm standing in my skeletal alignment based on my muscle tissues and the tension that they're habitually or subconsciously holding. So you drop into that, and then to start with, when you're standing, you just, now come closer so you can see it. You have yourself lined up, and then I can see that there's a difference in length here between the pelvis and the ribs. That's okay. And then you give your weight to the floor. You are allowing this area here to lengthen. The nervous system response when this is shortened and tightened is this. The ribs come forward to push the ear high. The lower back shortens to tilt you over into a forward momentum so that you can run and propel yourself with that weight release into the ground. So you are going to start reversing that stress response and letting it go. And it's a very scary thing to do when you're standing upright, because once you've been locked in this position for a while, the nervous system switches on the back line of muscles and it holds you upright, which is what holds this area shortened, which is what holds this area shortened. Over time, another lot of muscles will activate themselves subconsciously, driven by the nervous system, to keep you upright from falling back. So, once you get that foundation, you try and soften that belly and you let that belly become full. And then you imagine this whole area is coming back. So each time you exhale, that's happening. You can't breathe into this. You can't force the air to go in any direction, because as soon as you do that, you create draining and tension somewhere else in your body. So you stand and you just allow your body to breathe. Each time you exhale, you just imagine that dropping down. And you pay attention to the pubic bone, because due to the breath moving the body, the pubic bone will actually be moving down when you inhale, moving up when you exhale. So when you exhale and the pubic bone comes up, that's when this area lengthens. So it's perpetually in motion. The breath moves every joint of the body every time it fills your lungs and empties your lungs. And it's involuntary. As soon as you turn your thoughts to your breath and you start directing it in a certain direction or into a certain area or in a certain speed or way, you are removing it from the body. The mind cannot comprehend this movement and this movement all at the same time. It can become aware of it if it's happening. Then on top of that, you've got the thoracic spine, you've got the neck, you've got the chin, crown of the head, knees, feet, ankles. We cannot put our breath into our entire body with our mind. That's not what our mind is for. Our body is perfectly designed to function. And so we let it, we observe it. So it kind of will come in waves. As you start to give up your weight and give up holding, the body will align itself and it will drop into a slump. And when it does that, you know, my upper back has a little clicking through the thoracic spine and it creates space, but I want to slump. And then there's this swell movement moving through the right leg and the weight's resting heavier in my right foot now. And then as we keep letting that weight release, and that spine starts to move, the head and the thoracic, the rib cage, come into alignment over the pelvis. And then the pain is gone from my right side and I feel nice circulation through the groin and down into the inner right knee. Beautiful. That is just standing. From this position, from this stability, we have got the ability to start finding this in motion. So when we're bending, we keep our weight on the floor and we let everything bend. And we go down into that space. And you know, the joints keep realigning, because when you release your weight into the floor, the contraction or the shortening of the space between the bones isn't happening and our joints can realign. And we just Move with this. So if you're doing dishes, if you're standing at a workstation doing computer work, you do this. The same when you're sitting, you do exactly the same thing. But you are meant to be moving, you are meant to be in motion because your breath does that. So there's no thing that you can do, because you'll have to do more when that stops working. So you give yourself up. Like I said, back pain, when you've got problems with your digestion, this is the comfort you need to find so that everything's working properly. From here, you can start propelling yourself and holding yourself so you can take your weight onto that right side, which I have been struggling to stand on because I've been rushing through my days. And you can give your weight to your right side and you can bring your left leg up and you're stable. And there's no pain at all because my weight's heavy. And then I can give my weight to my left side and I can bring this up and around. No pain at all because I'm not holding anything up off the earth. The earth has me. I'm grounded. So that is understanding, the beginning of understanding how you can relieve pain in motion while you're standing up. So I hope that helps. It's definitely a longer video than I was intending to make, but everything is integrated. This is impacting your physical, every physical organ system, your spiritual, emotional, and energetic, psychological selves. This is consciousness. It exists here because of our physical. It has created our physical and it is fueled by our physical. That's toroidal, that toroidal motion. That is what you have when you have bones doing their job, muscles doing their job, and the body is in harmony. It's being present. So I hope that's helped. And I'll always be doing more.